I'm Sabrina Zainal, and this is Nightline. The top stories. Malaysia looking at diplomatic channels to stop bloodshed in Gaza, says Prime Minister. And Israeli airstrikes continue as Gaza waits for aid. Good morning. Malaysia will spare no diplomatic effort in working with its partners to prevent the further massacre of civilians in Gaza, and there should be no doubt nor question of Malaysia's commitment in this regard. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said Malaysia believes in upholding international law, and a nation's security and prosperity is predicted on the primacy of the rules that govern the interactions between states.
That is why Malaysia will spare no diplomatic effort in working with our partners to prevent the further massacre of civilians in Gaza. There should be no doubt, no question of our commitment in this regard.
He was speaking at the 14th ASEAN Law Association General Assembly and the ASEAN Law Conference 2023 in Kuala Lumpur. He also highlighted how some nations claim that it has nothing to do with the law and how, despite their advocating for a rules-based international order, tend to suspend such principles when it comes to Israel. Anwar expressed concerns over Israel's brutal occupation of the Palestinian territories and its flagrant disregard for the rules-based international order, highlighting the inconsistency in certain countries' stances. He added that maintaining faith in the sanctity of these laws becomes challenging when some nations exhibit an unwavering commitment to the iron-fisted tactics of occupation forces, characterized by brutality, genocidal intentions, and nefarious ends. In the meantime, Datuk Seri Anwar reiterated Malaysia's resolute support for Palestine, saying that Malaysia will focus on humanitarian assistance to help the Palestinians. He said Malaysia would also work together with the neighboring Arab states as they could play a prominent role in helping the Palestinians.
And it's not simple. I was to say, okay, you want to send one battalion. Where did you send to? Where do they land? You know. So it is. So please be careful. We want a united Malaysian stand. It's not a factional issue. It's not a partisan issue.
Anwar is scheduled to depart for Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, to meet Arab leaders to discuss the crisis. He will then depart for Turkey at the invitation of its president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, to discuss the same matter, and may visit Egypt to hold a meeting with President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, as the country has an important role to play in allowing the safe passage for humanitarian aid to Gaza. In the meantime, Anwar called on Malaysians to contribute through the right channels to avoid their donations being misused by irresponsible parties. He also reminded those who collect donations for the Palestinian people to always be responsible and not take advantage of the fund for their own interests.
Jadi saya nak juga nasihat kepada rakan-rakan di masjid, di surau, di mana-mana ceramah orang kutip wang ni, tapi mestilah ada pertanggungjawaban. Dia itqan fil amal. Dia ada peraturan dia yang diurus dengan cekap. Janganlah umpamanya ambil kesempatan itu untuk bina pula mahligai kita masing-masing, badan-badan sukarela kita masing-masing, dan membelanjakan yang begitu tinggi untuk keindahan pejabat kita.
Speaking at the handing over of donations to the Humanitarian Trust Fund for the People of Palestine, AAKRP, he said the huge collection raised within a short time reflected Malaysia's solidarity with the struggle of the Palestinian people. The Prime Minister gave his assurance that the AAKRP, managed by the Foreign Ministry, would solely be used to support the Palestinian cause and will be directly channeled towards medical aid, food, drink, and basic necessities to Gaza for the Palestinian people who are killed or injured. At the event, more than 71 million ringgit was donated by 46 entities. Among them was V5 Foundation with a donation of 1 million ringgit, which was presented by its founder, Datuk Muhammad Shafiq Abdullah. This brings the total collected so far to 81 million ringgit, including a 10 million ringgit allocation from the government, as announced by Anwar during the recent tabling of the 2024 budget. Malaysia will take the opportunity to strengthen relations and cooperation with Gulf countries at the inaugural ASEAN Gulf Cooperation Council (GCC) summit set to take place in Riyadh on Friday. Foreign Minister Datuk Sri Zamri Abdul Kadir said this includes finalizing several trade agreements and enhancing cooperation in various fields, particularly multilateral relations, the economy and regional security. He said Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, who will lead Malaysia's delegation at the summit, has been honoured with delivering the opening speech, given Malaysia's role as the ASEAN coordinator for the summit.
Dan ruang yang diberikan kepada Malaysia untuk kerjasama dua hala pada 21 hari bulan itu adalah merupakan satu penghormatan untuk kita terus mengukuhkan hubungan dua hala antara Malaysia dan Arab Saudi.
Speaking in a press conference at the Malaysian Embassy in Riyadh on Thursday, Zamri said a tight schedule awaits the Prime Minister that includes meetings with business leaders, two-way meetings with several leaders, as well as an engagement with the Malaysian diaspora. Anwar will also have an audience with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman on Saturday after receiving a personal invitation from him. He also said the issue in Gaza is expected to receive attention from ASEAN and GCC leaders, taking into account ongoing developments in which the Palestinian people continue to be oppressed by the Israeli Zionist regime. The Local Government Development Ministry, KPKT, has ordered local authorities across the country to conduct building inspections effective immediately to curb the capsule-sized room rental business, which increases the risk of safety and fire hazards. According to its minister, Ngakor Ming, inspections will be conducted comprehensively throughout the city, including in neighborhoods with apartments and flats, especially in the 20 cities where such businesses have been located. KPKT, along with the Malaysian Fire and Rescue Department, Kuala Lumpur City Hall, and the police, conducted a surprise inspection regarding public complaints against one such premises in Cheras on Thursday, suspected to be offering capsule-sized rental rooms, sometimes also called grave-sized rooms. The raid, led by the minister, together with Fire and Rescue Department Operations Deputy Director Datuk Nur Hisham Muhammad, was carried out at 1 p.m. to inspect the shop building, which had violated the law for modifying the premises in order to place 38 capsule rented rooms in the capital.
Kita tadi pun dah kumpulkan bahan bukti, handphone pun sudah ada, office dia pun ada. Okey, saya haraplah dia tak payah lepas berita besok keluar, satu dunia pun sudah tahu. Lebih baik dia serah diri saja. Jangan sampai kita cari dia sampai ke
The results of the inspection found that the premises in question had also been modified without permission and was not equipped with necessary emergency equipment such as emergency lights. He said the ministry will issue a fire hazard elimination notice under Section 8 of Act 341, adding that if the notice is not complied with, an investigation paper will be opened for the purpose of prosecution. The government will focus on developing affordable artificial intelligence, AI technologies for the plantation and commodities industry to help smallholders increase their income. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Fadila Yusof said this is one of the government's focus towards automation and mechanization, considering the ability of the target group to adapt to the new technology.
Syarikat besar dah mula beralih kepada automation. AI adalah salah satu, cuma yang cabaran paling utama kita sekarang ni ialah penuaian ataupun di kelapa sawit itu sendiri.
He also said the use of AI technologies would be able to reduce dependence on foreign and manual labor in the plantation and commodities industry. He told reporters after witnessing the signing of a MOU between the Malaysian Palm Oil Certification Council and Halal Development Corporation. Malaysia's halal export value reached 59.4 billion ringgit in 2022, with 4.7% or 2.8 billion ringgit were palm-based products. Police are looking into every aspect of the life of the co-founder and majority shareholder of a low-cost airline who was arrested on Wednesday, including his complete financial background and past dealings. Commercial Crime Investigation Department Director Datuk Sri Ramli Muhammad Yusof said the investigation will also seek to determine how the low-cost carrier came to exist. The media reported that the airline shared a connection with iServe online Mall Sendirian Berhad, which, along with 6 affiliated companies, were issued a compound by Bank Negara Malaysia last month for accepting deposits without a license. BNM and other agencies had also raided the premises of iServe in November 2021 over possible money laundering and related financial offences. The 57-year-old co-founder with a Datuk title, his 55-year-old wife and 26-year-old son have been placed under a 4-day remand since Wednesday. Invest Selangor Berhad has launched the 7th edition of the Selangor Asean Business Conference, SABC 2023, aiming to build on past achievements to foster diversity, capitalize on opportunities, and boost regional prosperity. Selangor State Exco for Investment, Trade and Mobility, Ng Zehan, highlighted the vibrancy of the ASEAN entrepreneurial landscape and the substantial economic potential, positioning Selangor as an enticing hub for those aiming to expand their business operations in the area.
This is the best platform for whoever who wants to know the latest update about the economic development in ASEAN to participate. So just now we have the speakers, Tan Sri Nasir and speakers of IDEA from Japan, very good speakers to share their views. And why do we think that SABC is very important? Because as a theme of this Selangor International Business Summit, we want to position Selangor as a gateway to ASEAN. So we want to create this platform for all to let them aware that if they invest in Selangor, they invest in ASEAN. Through this SABC, we believe that we can let everyone to see the potential of Selangor and to realize that the advantage and the benefit of investing in Selangor for a bigger market, which is the ASEAN market.
Prominently featured within Selangor International Business Summit, SIBS 2023, Ng emphasized that the SABC 2023 extends beyond a regional business conference, as it also serves as a platform to acknowledge ASEAN's global impact, particularly in the era of transformative digital innovation. Held from October 19th to 20th, the Regional Thought Leadership Forum sees leading economic thinkers and captains of industry from around the world coming together to explore opportunities in ASEAN. Pakistan's exiled ex-Prime Minister granted bail. The details when we return.
Hangat.
Money Matters.
Money Matters is going to be back after the break.
Don't go away, because Money Matters will be back shortly.
For the past half an hour, you've been with us on Money Matters.
I'm Zahir Kelvin Ong Abdullah, and this is Money Matters.
Money Matters with Zahir Kelvin Ong Abdullah, Azaria Tagaya, Muhammad Ahmad Hamdan, and Anita Wu, Saturdays at 5 p.m. only on TV3.
Menarik di MH KHI minggu ini.
Anda tahu tak, ada di antara mereka yang SPM 10A tapi ijazah bidang lain, kerjaya bidang lain.
Sepenuh Pinktober, kanser limfoma akan dibincangkan.
Penyalahgunaan vape katanya sekarang ini ada.
Unlocking the potential of the ringgit and recalibrating the economy, enhancing confidence in the stock market in the face of daunting developments, and building a ringgit-centric economy that stands tall on its own strength. Join us with Tan Sri Abdul Wahid Omar, Chairman of Bursa Malaysia, this Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3 and live HD stream on Tonton.
Foreign front. An explosion was heard near the Nasir Hospital in Gaza's Khan Yunis on Thursday as Israeli bombardment continued to target various parts of the enclave. A state of panic ensued shortly afterwards as people ran for refuge outside the hospital. Now, earlier, at least 13 Palestinians from the same family were killed by the Zionist regime when an Israeli airstrike hit their house in Khan Yunis. The Zionist regime's relentless bombardment in the southern Gaza Strip have killed more than 120 Palestinians, while over 30 Palestinians were also killed by Israel and dozens injured in airstrikes in Rafah. Over in the Nusayrat refugee camp in central Gaza, a Palestinian baby lost his life and several people were injured in an airstrike on Thursday. The number of Palestinians killed in the Gaza Strip has now risen to over 4,000, with more than 13,300 others left injured. Russia early on Thursday announced that it will deliver 27 tons of humanitarian aid to Palestinians in the Gaza Strip amid the ongoing conflict in the region. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation, in a statement, said that a special aircraft has taken off from Moscow, heading to the El Arish airport in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula, carrying flour, sugar, rice, and pasta. The aid will be handed over to representatives of the Egyptian Red Crescent Society for delivery to the Gaza Strip. The decision was made after Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi agreed to open the Rafah border crossing, allowing the safe passage of humanitarian assistance into Gaza. Earlier, 20 trucks carrying humanitarian aid were allowed to enter the Rafah crossing. A Pakistan court on Thursday granted bail to exiled former Prime Minister and graft convict Nawaz Sharif, removing the threat of arrest when he returns to the country this weekend. The court's decision allows him to return to his heartland of Lahore on Saturday for a welcome home rally, while his primary opponent, Imran Khan, languishes in jail. Lawyer Azam Nazir Tarar said Sharif had been granted protective bail under which authorities could not arrest him until he himself appears before a court on October 24th. After nearly 4 years in self-imposed medical exile in the United Kingdom, Sharif is hoping to lead his Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz PMLN party through elections scheduled for January 2024. The 73-year-old was convicted in 2018 on corruption charges, which he denied in 2 cases, and sentenced to a total of 14 years in prison. JDT trounces Perak FC. Sports when we come back. sports now, the 2023 Malaysia Cup. Johor Darul Takzim JDT have taken a handsome lead in their Malaysia Cup semi-final encounter against Perak when they beat the Seladang 4-1 in the first leg at the Perak Stadium in Ipoh on Thursday. Oscar Aribas opened the account for the Southern Tigers 7 minutes into the game before Arif Aiman doubled the lead 5 minutes later. Former Perak captain Shahrul Saad made it 3-0 in the 71st minute before the home side reduced the deficit via Luciana Guaicochea. But hopes for a comeback for Perak soon diminished when Nazmi Faiz completed the victory for the visitors with a fourth goal in the 81st minute. On to tennis, the 2023 Japan Open. Alex de Minaur advanced to the quarterfinals following a straight sets win over Diego Schwartzman. The fourth seed produced a consistent display to overcome the Argentine 6-love 7-5 at the ATP 500 hardcourt event in 1 hour and 30 minutes. With his 41st win of the season, the Australian set a quarter-final showdown against Aslan Karatsev. Joining him was Alexei Popirin. Despite losing the first set 4-6, the 24-year-old clawed his way back into the game to claim a 7-6, 6-2 win to advance to the last 8. The world number 41 will play Japanese wildcard Shintaro Mochizuki in the next round. When we return, school gardener charged with security guard's murder. Don't go away.
Money Matters is going to be back after the break.
Don't go away, because Money Matters will be back shortly.
For the past half an hour, you've been with us on Money Matters.
I'm Zahir Kelvin Abdullah, and this is Money Matters.
Money Matters with Zahir Kelvin Abdullah, Azaria Tagaya, Muhammad Ahmad Hamdan, and Anita Wu, Saturdays at 5 p.m. only on TV3.
Menarik di MHI.
In Perak, a school gardener was charged in the Ipoh Magistrates Court on Thursday for the murder of a security guard last week. However, no plea was recorded from 55-year-old R. Ravindaran after the charge was read out before Magistrate S. Punita as the case comes under the jurisdiction of the High Court. Ravindaran is charged with murdering 43-year-old Faisal Asri in the guardhouse of Sekolah Jenis Kebangsaan Sri Putani Simpang Pulai, Ipoh, last October 13th. He is charged under the Penal Code, which is punishable with death or imprisonment for between 30 and 40 years, with not less than 12 strokes if found guilty. No bail was offered, and the court set January 10th next year for mention. 2.6 billion. This staggering figure represents the number of suspected scam calls that the Malaysia Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, has successfully blocked. With the rising number of cases, there are now calls to amend the laws to provide better protection for victims and impose harsher punishments on perpetrators. FMT's Natasha Bust has the details.
Scam calls. It is fair to say that most Malaysians have received them. For many, these unsolicited calls from people claiming to be government officials or law enforcement officers are an occasional annoyance. But for some, these calls are life-changing and not in a good way. This is exactly what happened to one victim who only wishes to be known as Sarah when she was scammed by someone claiming to be from Tenaga Nasional Berhad or TNB.
Lain-lain punya saya boleh tolak-tolak sebab saya tahu LHDN kita akan call. Sekarang dia guna teknik cakap TNB tau.
The 50-year-old ended up losing 110,000 ringgit.
Scam Saban, I think scammer 100% sudah tipu punya, memang tak boleh dapat ambil punya. Saya memang tahu pihak polis tak dapat kerja balik dulu punya.
Between January and September of this year, Bukit Aman's Commercial Crime Investigation Department, or CCID, recorded 2,417 scam calls cases. The total losses from these scam calls amounted to over 131 million ringgit. And it gets worse. Bukit Aman CCID Director Datuk Sri Ramli Yusof says scammers are getting more creative.
And there are, a lot of new kind of modus operandi looming over the horizon, and many scams using like APKs, all these deep fakes, and perhaps also at a later stage already forgery when the technology allows it to be done that way.
To protect the public, Ramli wants Section 420 of the Penal Code to be strengthened.
The laws should be reviewed, should be revisited, some of them, to fit in the current state of affairs or the modus operandi. Maybe we have to improve the law to be in line with the world of online banking, and we have to do with a lot of securities.
There is also a need for greater awareness so people stop falling prey to scammers. Meanwhile, the fight against scam calls continues, with the National Scam Response Centre leading the charge. Established last year, the NSRC has been effective in thwarting scammers and freezing approximately 60 million ringgit in dubious transactions. The good news is that the NSRC will only improve, especially with a 20 million ringgit boost under Budget 2024. Natasha Bust, FMT for Nightline.
Let's take a look as a group of workers transforming disused satellite antennas into colossal solar panels in a bid to tap into Switzerland's unique geography and to diversify its energy sources. With that, I'm Sabrina Zainal. Thank you for watching and stay safe, Malaysia.